Hello my friends, welcome to a bit of a homeschool year-end wrap-up. Today we're going to be talking about all the books my 10th grader read for school, except I'm sure I forgot some. If you can see, these are some of the books. They're behind me. Some of them we don't have physical copies of. I definitely will have forgotten some. I tried to write like lists of books that she could go through, and then we would deviate for various reasons. And I tried to remember all of those, but I'm sure I forgot some. So this last year, I feel like was our first year really doing like a very much literature-based approach to almost every subject. And that's why there's so many books here. We, especially she, really loved this format. So we're planning on doing it again for grade 11. Now that I've done it before, I feel like I can plan better for the year. So, and I'm already planning for it. So my plan is to hopefully later come and share the projected books for grade 11. Yeah, as we go through, I am going to kind of say which subjects the books were for, but many of them have overlap. Like, well, anything you're reading is literature, but sometimes a book is like, it's a classic plus it's history, or it's a classic plus it's like Canadian history, or it's nature lore and geography and a classic. So I'll like tell you generally which subject I said it was for, but it kind of is also for multiple. And I have shared a video and or a Substack post kind of like talking more about how we organized it, our year. We set things based on time instead of like chapters. So instead of saying read a chapter of this each day, it was like read this for 15 minutes each day, which can be a little bit harder to predict how long certain books are going to take. That's partly why I just had like a list of books and I was like, okay, we'll see how far, like how many of them she gets crossed off. Turns out she got quite a few done. Yes, and then also she took 2 classes this year through our homeschool board. They were Socratic dialogue classes. So she took one Tolkien class and one Gothic literature class. So she read a ton of classics. This next year she signed up for 2 classes as well, but neither of them are literature based. One's a history one and one's a Latin. So I think that's going to change things quite a bit. Yeah, I'm just looking at my list here. Where do I even start? Why don't we start with the classics? If you want, more details on like the format of all of this, check out my previous videos and my Substack, but I'm just going to tell you about the books and if there was like something she loved or hated about them. Okay, I'm going to move over for this part because I got stacks of books here. We're going to start with the classics. I'm going to start with the ones that she read for her Gothic, Victorian Gothic class. She learned that she doesn't really like Gothic literature. So she didn't love any of those, I don't think. So she read Frankenstein. I don't know. I don't really have much to say about it. I think I have read most of these. She read Dracula. Interestingly, she has no tabs for Frankenstein, but has quite a few for Dracula. I don't really know what that means. She read The Phantom of the Opera. I read this one kind of the same time that she was reading it. What else did she read here? The Picture of Dorian Gray. Nathaniel Hawthorne. I think there was like 4 short stories in here that she had to read. She read The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And this one also has other short stories, but I don't think that she had to read any of those. She read Jane Eyre. This one was a bit of a chunker. Yes, this was the only Bronte that she had to read. It surprised me that Jane Eyre won out and not Wuthering Heights, but that's what it was. And she read classic works of horror by Edgar Allan Poe. I think this was just a few short stories from here. So yeah, that was, I think, like an 8-week course. Maybe it was closer, maybe it was a 12-week course. It was quite a bit of reading, I think. Yeah, I don't know when she did that. And then actually the semester before, she took her Tolkien class. So these were rereads for her. She reread The Hobbit and then the entire Lord of the Rings series, trilogy / book, however you want to word it. I think she really enjoyed this class because she really enjoys these books. So yeah, I didn't really have any input on that. And then she didn't read that many classics for me because she was doing so many for this. She might have read more classics than this for me, but this is all that I remember. Oh, I grabbed the wrong book. I grabbed Persuasion. No, she read Pride and Prejudice. She had fun with Mr. Collins there, that's for sure. Hilarious, that marriage proposal. It's just so painful. She read The Wizard of Oz because she had never read this one. And then another one that I was surprised she had never read was The Secret Garden. So I got her to read that. Then she also read The Mysterious Affair at Styles. This was Agatha Christie's first book. I think her first mystery. Definitely not her best, but I thought that'd be a cool place to start. And then I think that's all that I had her read. I can't remember. I had more on a list, and I kind of just let her choose between them. And I don't think that she read any others. Then I had her reading some Canadian, I think I had it kind of as Canadian history. And then it kind of just morphed into, this is Lucy Maud Montgomery class. So she read The Blue Castle and loved it. I feel like just not enough people have read this one, but everyone that has loves it. Then she started the Anne series. So she finished Anne of Green Gables. And then she is like almost halfway through Anne of Avonlea. And then my plan for next year is for her to continue this series because I feel like a lot of people stop at Anne of Green Gables. I was one of those people once upon a time. But the series gets better, I think. So she's working on that. And then the other classics that she read was Shakespeare. People have different opinions on the No Fear Shakespeare books. My daughter really likes them. So she read Hamlet, Much Ado About Nothing, and The Merchant of Venice. I've only read Hamlet out of these. And they have the Shakespeare English on one side and the modern English translation on the other. And she finds it very helpful. She reads I don't know which side she reads first, but she reads one side and then she reads the other. I know some kids that just go and read the modern translation, but I think it's important to also read the Shakespeare. So yeah, we got those. I think she'll be doing more Shakespeare again this year. She's already read Macbeth. She really liked that one, I think. Romeo and Juliet didn't like. And then we own a couple others. So I think I'll just go with the ones that we own first and then go from there. I usually find them on Book Outlet for like $2. So a couple of them I found at the thrift store. So I just need to make a list of the ones that we have / the ones that I'm looking for. Okay, so when I look at that, those are all the classics that she read, and that is quite a bit. What do I want to say next? The other thing I had her doing is reading a poem a day. So she picked Friends, a poem for every day of the year. I have a number of different like daily poetry books, and this is the one that she selected. I don't think she enjoyed this one very much, but I had a good time with it when I read it a couple years ago. There is a lot of variety in these poems. It's not my favorite one of my daily poetry collections. I think I'm going to get her to read my favorite one next year, but I think it's a good one. Let's talk about history next, I think. So we were studying pretty much, we started at 1900 and we went till the end of World War II. Obviously, I think we spent more time with World War II because there's just more books for that time period. She read Unsinkable. This has to do with the sinking of the Titanic and other things. Our main character, the one timeline, is based off of a true story, and it was pretty intense. Like not in a like scary kind of way, but like, oh my goodness, I can't believe someone lived through all of this. I liked it more than she did, honestly, but I thought it was good. She read As Bright as Heaven. This has to do with the Spanish flu, and our main characters are these three sisters whose father owns a funeral home. So that's an interesting perspective. She also read The Quintland Sisters. That has to do with the Dion quintuplets, which is a very big Canadian historical thing. They were the first identical quintuplets to survive, and they were just kind of paraded around as a freak show. She did not enjoy the book. It really wasn't about them very much. We did have a copy. I think it's on my stack of books to get rid of. So, but she read that one. Where did I not grab that book? Okay. She also read the Vienna Prelude, which has to do, it's like leading up to World War II. And then the rest of these are World War II books. She also read These Tangled Threads. We had that one from the library. I have never read that one, so I don't remember what it's about, but I heard good things about it from Heather, I can't remember what her homeschool channel is, but I'll put it up here. She very much influenced our literature-based approach. And then for World War II, she read Dear Mrs. Bird and really enjoyed that one. She read The Codebreaker's Daughter by Amy Lynn Green, and I think this one was kind of like okay for her. She read The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. I don't think she really liked this one, which is too bad because I enjoy it. And then These Blue Mountains. No, she didn't read this one. I just accidentally grabbed this one instead of Vienna Prelude. Yeah, so I think that's all she read for history. I don't know. I might have forgotten some. Then for nature lore / geography, these two subjects kind of ended up morphing together a little bit. So she started out by reading The 29th Day, which has to do with a teenager who is attacked by a grizzly bear on the 29th day of a outdoor journey adventure thing in the Northwest Territories. So there was like a lot of, I read the first little bit and thought it was really good, and she loved the whole thing. There's a lot of like nature elements, animal elements, like different birds that they were seeing, and then geography. So she really enjoyed that one. Then she also read The Day the World Came to Town, which is one that I've been meaning to read forever. It has to do with like 9/11 and the people that were rerouted that couldn't land in New York and were rerouted to, where was it? A small town in Newfoundland? I don't remember exactly where. A small town, Canada somewhere. And she enjoyed that one. Then I had her read Freckles and A Girl of the Limberlost. She did not love these. She did not love them at all, but she read them. I actually think maybe Secret Garden was also a nature lore one, which also is a classic, and like this is also a classic. Then let's do Christian biographies. So I have this 70 Great Christians book, The Story of the Christian Church. And it starts like with Peter and Paul, and it goes to Richard Wurmbrand, maybe is the last one. And she didn't like how this was written. And she likes biographies. So yeah, I just found this one in a little free library or like at a thrift store or something one time. So I grabbed it, but I will probably just put it back in one. Then I had her read a few other biographies. So there's Through the Gates of Splendor by Elizabeth Elliot. This is one of them that I just cannot remember if I have read. I should check my Goodreads. And it has a lot of pictures throughout, which is also helpful. So this has to do with the Elliots and a bunch of the people that were serving in Ecuador, and then 5 of the guys were murdered by the tribe that they were trying to reach. Then she read Evidence Not Seen by Darlene Diebler Rose. This has to do with a woman who was a missionary who ended up becoming a Japanese prisoner of war during World War II. This one, like, it's not the best written, but the story is amazing. Yeah, and like stories of God's provision are amazing. And then a more modern one was Kisses from Katie by Katie Davis. This one I don't have the dust jacket for. This has to do with a girl. How long ago would this have been? Like 15 years ago, maybe? I don't remember when she went there, but a very rich girl from, this was published 15 years ago now, so a little bit more than that, from the States, ended up becoming a missionary in Uganda. And so this is like a more modern missionary biography. And then, let's see my list. Oh yes, we did some Greek mythology, which she didn't enjoy. So we have a book called Favorite Greek Myths, I don't know if you can hear the kids outside, but they're having a blast. It's a nice warm day. They're screaming and having a good old time. So she read Favorite Greek Myths, which was just like short versions of some of the Greek myths. And then she read The Lightning Thief by the first book in the Percy Jackson series, because she had never read it, actually, which she didn't enjoy at all, which is fine. I'm not a Greek mythology person, so that was fine by me that we don't have to like deep dive there. And then we decided to switch. Instead of Greek mythology, we went and did some fairy tales. So I have this beautiful book of it's the Brothers Grimm's Snow White and Other Grimm's Fairy Tales, and this is illustrated by Minalima, and it has like lots of illustrations and pop-outs and just fun different things throughout the book, and a few random papers because there are some parts that have like hard pieces that could wreck the book. Now I have to figure out where this one fell from. There's like the vines for this one, and this one stands up and spins. They're really cool. Definitely makes a more interesting reading experience. Let me take a look at my list here. I think that is most of them. She is, other than Anne of Avonlea, she is also carrying over How to Read a Book by Mordecai Adler and Charles Van Doren. This book she's found very boring, but she got halfway through. She was listening to it on audio from Libby, but then the audiobook had to go back, and then there was a wait. So she wants to keep reading it next year, even though she's not enjoying it. So she'll finish this up. And then I didn't really get her to read much Christian nonfiction like assigned to her. It's one of the things that she's requested for next year to be added in. But she is currently reading Messy Beautiful Friendship, and I think she hasn't finished it. I'm not sure if she's going to for this school year or pick it up for next year. That's just about being a good friend. And I really enjoyed it when I read it. I might be rereading it this summer, so glad that she's reading it. And I'm so excited that that's one of the things that she wants to increase for next year. So that's a look at what my 10th grader read. I'm sure I missed a few, but you get the idea. I want to do a video like this for my 7th grader for the year, and then I will hopefully have more ideas of what's coming up next year and share my potential lists for that as well. I would love to hear what are some things your kids read this year, like some favorites, any suggestions for my daughter for next year. So I think we're going to be doing the timeline for history is 1950, whatever, post World War II, I think till about 2000. Are we going that far? Oh yeah, I think it is 2000 because I have a Columbine book. Well, I have a few that she could be reading, and that's in there. So yeah, we'll be going till 2000. Let me know if you guys have some ideas. I always look forward to your book recommendations.